All right, Peraz, Cortez, Sharp, 24G700688. Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. Christopher Shumke, appearing on behalf of my client. This time we extend to the matter being heard via Zoom.
Sir, your name?
Around Sharp.
All right, so how's he going to proceed? He's got these 3 violations.
Your Honor,
For the record, I just should indicate that I pronounced the issuance of a warrant the other day. I did not realize he was in custody. We were called by the family the following day. That's why these are scheduled. The warrant's been canceled, right, Lisa?
Yes, Judge.
All right, so how's he going to proceed? I'm sorry.
Your Honor, I spoke with my client as to the allegations, and although he maintains that he did some of these things timely, he understands that he did not do them within the confinement of what probation is, specifically his community service, reporting it, and then he did not complete the domestic violence program. So in this circumstance, Judge, we're not going to be asking for a hearing.
He's going to plead to all counts?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that what you want to do, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, so that would be 3 different violations. You've got 3 technical violations, and this is a domestic violence case under 7694A. So actually, the technical versus non-technical does not apply. If you plead guilty to any one of these, I want you to understand you could get 93 days in jail. I could revoke your 769.4A status, enter the conviction, and then again, you'd have this conviction plus no deferral of the plea as I went forth with you before. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, you're presumed innocent. They have to prove you guilty by a preponderance of the evidence. You have the right to a hearing. If you plead guilty, you're giving up your right to a contested hearing. You're waiving your right to remain silent, waiving your right to question their witnesses, to bring in your own, to use the subpoena powers of the court to bring in those witnesses. If you plead guilty, you'll be giving up all those rights and there will be no hearing. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
As to count 1, that you failed to complete the domestic violence program with 12-week follow-up, how do you plead?
I'm guilty.
Is to count 2, that you failed to provide proof of completing 1 day of community service by February 9, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Is to count 3, that you failed to refrain from assaultive, abusive, intimidating, or harassing conduct toward Alexis Myers, how do you plead?
Guilty.
What did you do? Did you fail to complete the domestic violence program with 12-week follow-up? And did you also fail to provide proof of completing your 1 day of community service by February 9 of 25?
Yes, sir.
All right. What did you do that makes you guilty of violating that no assaultive, abusive, or intimidating behavior order?
Caught another case.
For domestic violence?
Well, it was dismissed in November, but they just burned it back up.
Hang on. Do you know what he's talking about?
Yeah, so I didn't issue violation for a new offense because he technically hasn't been convicted, so honestly, you probably shouldn't talk about it. But I have the police report, and it's the same victim that, if you read the police report, in my opinion, he violated the assaultive, abusive, intimidating context.
All right, here's what I'm doing. I'm entering a not guilty plea on count 3.
And yeah, they did, it was weird, they didn't charge him, and then they did charge him, and then it got wound over. So I ran it this morning, he's not scheduled for a final conference until May 1st.
And he's going to be in custody till
Is that what he's in custody on now?
Yes, Your Honor.
What'd they charge that as? Domestic
I believe
second?
there was he was indicating he thought it was a felony charge. I didn't have the charge.
Do you know?
There's 3 counts.
Okay,
Assault with intent to do great bodily harm, less than murder. domestic violence, second offense, and the third is knowing assault or assault and battery of a pregnant individual, and it looks like he's got $100,000 cash bond.
So you got a 10-year felony over and over you, plus these other 2 counts.
Judge, I'm prepared to allocate at the court's convenience.
I'm gonna listen.
Judge, in this circumstance, with his next court date being May 1st, I'd ask for him to get credit for time served, closes probation out. In this circumstance, Judge, he's not going anywhere until May 1st. He's already mopping up days. He's been in since February 19th.
How did I know he's not gonna post a bond?
He hasn't yet, Judge.
I get it.
And actually, yeah, he's been in custody since February 19th.
Not on this case.
On the pending case, he's been in custody since February 19th.
No, I'm not giving him credit for that, though. What were the other violations for the first 3? Can you remind me? He's obviously had 3 technical violations
Oh,
before.
the one, oh, it was the same thing. It looks like the last one, he missed the probation appointment. He hadn't even enrolled in the domestic violence at that point, and then I included his fines and costs.
Do you have a final pretrial on that case that's up, or is that it? Is that your next court date?
No, not yet. It's I don't fully even know what it is on May 1st. They didn't even tell me. They just told my lawyer, and I'm waiting to talk to him.
When I looked up the ROA, I just said final conference, May 1st.
Boy, this is disappointing. I don't want you to say a single word about this case that you got ongoing, but you were just in here in August and you're not doing what you're supposed to do. I didn't ask you to do that much. 12-week domestic violence program, no assault, abuse, or intimidating behavior. Well, I'm revoking your 7694A status. That is what I'm going to do right now. So this conviction is entered. We did a report on him before, right? A pre-sentence.
Yes, I have.
All right, here's what I'm doing. I don't need another report, but I'm going to set this for a sentencing. I want to go back and look at the records. I want to look at the other PSI if you can give it to me. And I want to look at the new police report and the old police report, and I'll check out his record. But right now, sir, you've got 5 technical violations, 2 here. So this is not boding well for you. I don't know why. Now, I don't want you to say a single word about that recent episode, but you know, there's reasons judges order things. One of the reasons I was ordering that domestic violence program was I'd hoping we could turn you around, get you some help. I'm not saying you did anything wrong. You might have been in Italy when they think this happened. I have no clue. But somebody thinks you didn't do something you were supposed to do, and somebody else thinks you're assaulting that woman. And the thing that they don't think you did is the thing that I ordered that I was going to hope was going to stop this nonsense from going on again. Give me a sentence date, Lisa. I'm going to go ahead and set a 20,000 10% bond, and I will sentence you in a couple weeks or so when Mr. Shemke's here again, Lisa.
Okay, let me see when he's here. April 1st,
It's good by me.
10 o'clock. Is that okay?
I believe that I'm not here on April 1st.
You're not?
No,
Oh, I have
but
you down
I'm
as
just
the
looking-
Raymond attorney.
I don't believe so. That got Mr. Westmoreland is now on that date. But I'm pulling up my calendar.
April 3rd, your overflow.
I am, yeah, April 3rd. I have no
We'll
issue.
do it April 3rd at 8:30 in the morning, okay? Is that good, Lisa?
Yep, that's good.
And you have to post 2,000 to secure your release. Good luck to you, sir. Thank you. And that's on this case, obviously, in addition to whatever other bond you have. I wish you well. Thank you. Shankleton. All right.
Good morning, Judge Mazengate, up here on behalf of Mr. Montgomery.
I don't have a probation order here. I mean, a probation sheet. And I have no idea what happened to my one stamp. Your brain stamp? That was right here. Just like this. Here. Okay. So he's charged with failure to attend the scheduled probation instructional on February 4 and again on February 20 of 2020. So do you understand that, Mr. Montgomery?
Yes,
You could be incarcerated for up to 180 days on this case. Let's see here. The plea was to attempted child abuse fourth, which is a 1 year, but because of the attempt, it's reduced to 6 months. Do you understand that?
yes,
You're presumed innocent. They have to prove you guilty by a preponderance of the evidence. You have the right to question their witnesses, to bring in your own, to use the subpoena powers of the court to bring in those witnesses. If you plead guilty, you'll be giving up all those rights, and there will not be a hearing or a trial. Do you understand that?
yes,
You have the right to a lawyer. I'll be happy to give you one at public expense. Would you like one?
yes.
What am I saying? I'm sorry.
It's a show cause, Judge.
I know. All right. What is he gonna do on this? I'm sorry. He's got a lawyer. What's he going to do on this? I apologize.
He'll plead guilty with an explanation on this, Judge.
Is that what you want to do, sir, is plead guilty?
I
It's
would
either
like to
not
have,
guilty with a hearing or guilty with an explanation. If you want to plead not guilty, I'll get probation in here. And they can tell me whether or not you were at your instructional appointment on February 4 and then February 20.
so now I'll plead guilty.
To the charge that you failed to attend your scheduled. To the charge that you had failed to attend your scheduled probation instructional appointment on February 20, how do you plead?
I plead guilty.
And again on April the 20th, when they rescheduled, or February the 20th, when they rescheduled it, how do you plead to that?
I will have to plead guilty. I wasn't there.
Did you fail to appear on those dates?
Yes, I did.
Anybody force you to plead guilty? I'm gonna need somebody from probation on this. And
No,
it's not,
Hey, Judge.
I'm gonna accept your plea. I find it to be an accurate plea. This is an attempt child abuse charge. This is serious. Why didn't he show up?
Judge, at the time, he had left the residence. According to Mr. Montgomery, he did not receive any of the notices.
Okay.
And then at that time, it was right around when COVID, when COVID hit, Judge. So there was a lot of confusion as far as procedure and policy with certain courts and whatnot. But Mr. Montgomery at this point did not even realize that he still had this warrant out, because from what he recalls, he was only required to pay just the fines and costs, which I explained to him was not the case. So
How
he's
could he
here.
miss that? I told him to do the domestic violence with 26-week follow-up. Pay restitution, no contact, no firearms, pay his fines and costs. I ordered 45 days in jail, so something really troubled me.
You gave him 45 days credit, correct, Judge?
I know, well, he'd been in there and I gave him credit for 24 and made him serve 21 more, so something really bothered me. Can I, Ms. Wiles, your name?
Elizabeth Osprey, Your Honor.
Can I see the screening report or PSI? What did I order here?
Yes, Your Honor.
Either one, let's see.
PSI, it looks like, Judge.
March 11th of 20, I don't think COVID had really began. It might have someplace. Maybe, I don't know what to tell you. This is terrible record. Let me see this for a minute, please. How old was Mr. Lawson?
15, 16. That was my son, 16. He's 20 now.
Said you punched him in the face and ribs.
My son pretty much bigger than me, tried to like attack me.
We never saw him.
His case was actually with Mr. Rojas at the time. And he never reported after his release from jail. Mr. Rojas did attempt to reach him on 2 separate occasions by sending him notices to appear. When he didn't appear, the show cause.
What would you like to say?
Judge, like Mr. Montgomery stated, he had left that address and moved at that point and did not receive the notices that were sent by probation. At that time, he said that COVID had just hit and there was a lot of closures and confusion. I think what happened, Judge, I don't know if there was any intent to disobey the court's order, but I think he may have just gotten caught up in the shuffle of everything that's happened, and he's just getting around now to resolving these matters.
Well, he's not getting around to it. He's getting around to it because he was picked up on a warrant, right? I mean, let's be honest about it. It's not like you didn't voluntarily walk into Brownstown today, the police department, did you?
No, I was picked up on a warrant.
Yeah, I mean.
In his defense, Judge, he's had, according to Mr. Montgomery, he's had no other convictions or charges, rather, or interaction with law enforcement since this incident. He is currently employed, Judge.
COVID hadn't started when your first appointments were scheduled. Your first appointments were scheduled on February 4 and February 20. I sentenced you on January the 14th of 20. Really, COVID didn't start until March. You didn't show up then. You didn't show up for your show cause that was scheduled for March the 11th. You knew you had just been sentenced here. You blew it off. And there's not much I can do for you. There's just really not. I mean, you got 180 days you're looking at. Why would you have done this? See owe money on this, Lisa?
I believe he was.
When I looked this one.
7:45.
Does he work?
He's working currently, Judge, correct. He works through a temp agency and he also does home renovation, home improvement. So he is currently employed.
Detective, your name, and can you tell me then where he was picked up and for what last night or the day before?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Crystal Tula, or good morning. Crystal Tula is Detective Brownstown Police Department. Your Honor, it's my understanding he was
picked up from another facility. I don't know what for or why he was at that other facility.
Well, I don't want to quiz him about what's going on, but it looks like
Well,
there.
I'm sorry, Your
It
Honor.
looks like,
I'm sorry, if
Go
I
ahead.
may, it looks like, on 3/7/2025, he was charged, or I'm sorry, 3/8/2025, he was charged at following his arrest for aggravated domestic violence. And on 3/18/2025, that was dismissed out of the 36th District Court. My guess is that we picked him up from their custody yesterday.
yeah,
According to Mr. Montgomery, he's been incarcerated since March 6th, Judge.
yeah, that makes sense. Do you have anything else you want to say?
Nothing else, just that he has a 10-year-old daughter, Judge. I mean, he is fully employed. He understands, I've talked to him, I've explained the situation to him. To be quite honest, my impression of what he told me is this completely slipped his mind at this point because he didn't receive the notices and it's been so long. But he is willing to abide by whatever the court orders and he's willing to complete whatever the court does recommend. Isn't that correct, sir?
Yes, I just need time to pay and I'll do the class.
We talked about that. It's been 5 years, so that your probation is most likely going to get revoked.
I don't know why you would do this to yourself. I'm troubled because it's child abuse. And I'm troubled because you didn't do anything to get yourself rehabilitated. And I'm troubled because you just blew this off completely. And I'm going to assume that that case was rightfully dismissed, not because a victim didn't want to prosecute, because you either weren't there or did nothing wrong. And that's fine. The fact is you're still indebted to the court.
700.
And I'm not worried about the money as much as I am the probation that you should have done that would have maybe helped ensure that you don't engage in this type of behavior again. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what compels people to do what they do. I don't know why somebody would just blow this off. I ask myself that 8 times a day typically. Probation's revoked. You'd pay costs of $845. I'm adding 100 on. You're to serve 180 days, credit 46 for 134. If you pay costs of $845, I will suspend $90 of the 134, requiring you to only serve 44 days. So if you pay the $845, you'll be out in 44. Otherwise, you're going to serve 134 days. You have 21 days to appeal, 14 days to apply for a court-appointed lawyer for purposes of appeal. I wish you well, sir.
Judge, would you consider giving him credit for the time that he's?
I'm giving him credit for yesterday. That's the best I'm going to do. I'm sorry.
I don't want to be able
Thank
to
you, Judge.
pay. I want to be able to pay while I'm incarcerated.
I don't know. You should have thought about that before you absconded for 5 years. You can call people, they'll let you call people. Maybe somebody can come up with it. I hope they can, but listen to me. You got nobody to blame but yourself here.
But I never got the notices. I never knew
right.
that I was supposed to come.
Okay. Good
I knew
luck to
I
you,
was on
sir.
probation.
All
but I
right,
didn't
that's
know.
enough. That's enough. That's enough. I don't want to hear it. Good luck.
Thank you.
Gwen. 2 5